Good afternoon and welcome to Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. You are here in the auditorium, you to be part of the conference center. And because of our commitment to student support and set student center approach, the whole complex of hotel and conference center had been converted to classroom. So this is one of the lecture rooms that you are sitting in. I welcome you to Indiana University. The reason we want to bring you here is that where the work get done. IUPUI was named as one of the top 30 non-HBCU institutions for minorities. And we have twice being named the top minority support school. We meant support by action. We had initiative that the LSAM program have called for. We have mentoring, we have tutoring in mathematics, writing, we have the student multicultural center, student success, we have facilitate all the support initiative that engage academic excellence. We have a center for research and learning to take care of undergraduate research initiative. We have the Center for Research and Learning, which is take care of internship and externship and all the engagement in the community. We have Center for Teaching and Learning and have make the national mark on innovative approach that at IUPUI being fully implemented in the gateway for STEMs. We have projects that make national names, such as just-in-time teaching, the pedagogy in peer-led team learning, which you will have a session presentation tomorrow. Those are initiatives have proven time after time that help students to pass their gateway science required courses. So it's been applied direct or the freshman seminar as well as freshman required courses in the STEM. I mean, both science, mathematics, computer science, engineering, and technology. So the result is counting, and we're hoping that we are able to have the support of the administration to bring it to the level of national recognition. You are here also to hear perspective from LSAM recipients who had been with the program, have traveled the road many of your students travel, and question whether they can get there. The panel of students will affirmatively, positively tell you that it's possible. And we have Dr. Pamela Shaw, who's going to moderate the session, and she will introduce herself and her panelists today. Thank you for coming to IUPUI. And here's the panels.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. Once again, my name is Pam Shaw. I'm the Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion here at IU School of Dentistry that's located here on the IUPUI campus. I was formerly the Indiana LSM Director for over 8 years, and I've also served as the Alliance for Graduate Education and Professoriate Alliance Director. Both programs are funded by the National Science Foundation. Ultimately, I continue my role as one of the co-PIs of the LSMCE project. What I like to do this afternoon is do what I love to do, and that's to talk to the students. I like to talk to those students who we have engaged with, and let's find out from them how the LSM program has been impactful in their lives and in their career goals. What I'd like to do at first is to let each one of them introduce themselves, because I always let them do that on their own. And then what I want them to do after they give me an introduction, tell me also where they are now in their careers and what their ultimate career goals. After each one has done that, then we'll go forward and I'll give them a series of questions. And as time permits, we'll also engage questions from the audience because I want you to ask questions of them. So let's start from the far end. Let's get introductions.
How much of an introduction do you want?
I just would like your name and tell us where you are now and what your ultimate career goal is.
Okay. My name is Trevor Grand Prix. I am a senior undergraduate at DePaul University in Chicago, and I am currently applying for PhD programs in physics. Hmm? Okay.
What's your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is, well, I don't really care too much if I get into teaching or industry. My major goal is really to get a PhD in physics, and I'll figure it out before I get the PhD, but right now that's what I'm focused on.
Hi, so good afternoon. My name is Pablo Guzman. Actually, currently a postdoc at the California Institute of Technology. As far as goals, I think I'm probably right in line with Trevor. Right now, it's one step at a time. I just moved to California last Sunday, so one step at a time.
I guess I'll grab this one. Hello, my name is Trina Fletcher. I'm currently a doctoral student at Purdue University in engineering education, first semester PhD student, and I spent some time in industry, and I thought that's what I wanted to do eventually, and become like a manufacturing plant manager and all of that. But after I did some work with NSBE in a SEEK program, summer engineering experience for kids, and some other community work in DC while working on my master's degree, I realized that community work and getting more minorities in STEM was really my passion. So that's why I chose the PhD program that I chose at Purdue. And also doing some work internationally. I went to Africa this past summer, and I just fell in love with West Africa. And I'm actually headed back there at the end of next month to do some more work with young girls in STEM and helping to push the agenda over there.
Hello, my name is Sana Ziama, and I'm originally from Liberia, and I have a PhD in mathematical physics from Purdue University. I'm currently a postdoc at the University of Kentucky in Lexington. My ultimate goal is to be a research faculty.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shira Ruggs Dancy. I'm a second-year dental student at Indiana University School of Dentistry. I attended IUPUI. I received my degree from Purdue in biology. And my goal, of course, is to be a dentist. I'm hoping to work in the public health, maybe pediatrics. I'm still not sure. Of course, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time like the rest of my colleagues and, just finish.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's get started. The first question I'd like to ask each of our students, former students, current students, tell us how LSAMP impacted your life from an educational standpoint and from a career standpoint. Let's start this time with Shira.
Well, honestly, I came into undergrad knowing that I wanted to pursue dentistry. So my freshman year, after I think I took maybe a couple of chemistry courses, I was sent a letter after the first year inviting me to participate with LSAMP. And I wasn't really familiar with the program, but something just sparked an interest in me. And so I applied and I was accepted, and I was matched with a molecular cell biologist in the Purdue School of Science, Dr. John Watson. And I'm happy I took that opportunity because I was introduced to biology before I actually took biology at the school. And I did a whole lot of reading because I really didn't have a background, like a full background of biology yet. So I'm just happy, I took that opportunity.
So academically, the LSAM program played a very crucial role in my career opportunities that later on came along. So when I came from Liberia, initially I was intending to do physics, of course, but I didn't really know that as an undergraduate, research was something that was accessible for me. And the opportunity came when my physics instructor approached me in the hallway and said, would you like to do a project with me? And okay, I was confused at that time because I was just a freshman and they didn't know what it meant to do in a physics project. And I was actually afraid to start working with him, but he encouraged me and I started working with him. And the first institution that supported this research was the LSAMP, and that is how we applied for LSAMP Summer Research Grant. And then I became involved with the LSAMP, and we went for field trips and established some networks of LSAMP friends. But just some of those workshops that I attended that were sponsored by the LSAMP exposed me to the essence of physics research, of course, along with my mentors' teaching of what it meant to do physics research. But that opportunity the LSAM gave me actually opened my eyes and opened new doors for me to grow more interest into becoming a physicist. So.
So I'm kind of unique. On my campus, when I got there, LSMP actually hadn't started or hadn't been brought on the campus. So I was a part of a HBCU Up STEM initiative that the NSF funded on our campus. So I was the first president of that organization. But while around the time when I was getting ready to graduate, they were actually starting the communication around bringing LSMP on our campus. And I was one of the students that was able to kind of just give some feedback on what I enjoyed about the STEM Academy and things like that as they were rolling everything out. And I was actually able to come back onto campus at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff and speak to the LSM first group of students that were involved throughout the state of Arkansas. And I was just so proud because Dr. Buckner, who's in the audience right now, is the director of that program, and it has just taken STEM on Arkansas Pine Bluff's campus to a whole new level. We actually just got a new facility that's already being built, and just seeing the work that she's doing with the students on the campus is impacting me constantly, and I'm a huge supporter of the chapter and the organization, and I'm looking forward to just keeping that relationship going with them.
So with my experience, the LSAMP program was extremely important because it gave me the opportunity to run into Professor Leroy Jones. I can say that the opportunities that I have in front of me now, I totally couldn't have done it without his input. So in the regard of networking, that's where I think it really helped out tremendously in conducting research also at Chicago State University. You know, it provided us with the funding necessary for us to, say, not to work at a fast food restaurant or some type of labor job. The program gave us money to stay within the university, and that was extremely, extremely helpful.
The LSAM program has helped me in so many ways. It's like I can't even remember them all. But I guess locally at my school, we don't have a formalized LSAM program. It's more they help you, they fund you to do research. So that was really helpful because it actually helped me to focus doing research part-time instead of like some other job, and that led to me being able actually to present research at other conferences like the LSAM conference and CARS. I can't remember their acronym, so I'm sorry. And also, I got funded to go to Ireland with the LSAM grant, and that was another experience that I'm really thankful for and has really changed the way that I view international, or how research is done internationally, and how everyone can come together and talk about science. And just it's also helped me in the way that I've definitely learned how to network better. I mean, at this LSAM conference, I don't know if you ever experienced it, but they force you to talk to people, and scientists, especially physicists, are not always social. They're socially awkward most of the time. So like when they force you to sit together and force you to talk to each other, that really helps. And I would say most of the opportunities I've gotten is because I went out of my way to talk to people and also like maintain that contact. one last thing is, like, when I was at Berkeley at my SROP, I literally walked up to the LSAMP program and at Berkeley, and they invited me in, and like they were serving food, and they were just like, here, you want to come sit down and eat? I was like, oh sure. It's like, here, we have the dean of the College of Science here. Come meet him. And so, like, also it's just the fact that LSAMP is they're willing. They're just so connected through all over the nation that they're willing to take on people, and they're not like selective. Like, they don't want to just say we're only going to we're only going to treat our students right, but it's more so like they just want everyone who are underrepresented to do well, and I really experienced that.
Thank you. Okay, now the next question will pretty much be one where you can give me a show of hands, because we've talked a little bit about STEM. How many people on the panel started their undergrad education as a STEM major? Did anyone not? Ah. And was it the same STEM major that you graduated in? Okay. And I ask that question because often we see students start out in STEM and they transition out of STEM. Now, I'm quite sure many of you had friends who started in your major and they changed majors. Could you tell us possibly why you stayed in a STEM major and how LSAMP may have contributed to that? You can, it's just voluntary, so no, we won't go down the line.
Well, I know here at IUPUI, the first semester biology course is the K101 course is usually the weed out course, and so I noticed a lot of my friends after or during the course, you know, would just switch majors because they thought it was too challenging, or they just didn't want to do it anymore. But I mean, I knew coming in it would be challenging, so I mean, that didn't stop me. I didn't get the best grade, but I just tried harder because I knew it wouldn't be easy. I mean, if it was easy, you know, then everyone would be able to do it. So that's why I stayed.
Anybody else?
Well, if I just to give just to try to relate to some people, actually, when I'm a product of the city colleges of Chicago. So actually, before Chicago State University, I started at Olive Harvey, and the reason I started there was because I didn't take the SATs and ACTs and stuff to get into a four-year institution. The reason I didn't take that is because I didn't want to go to college. I'm not that great of, you know, when it comes to the books and stuff, but the one thing that I do have is that I'm not lazy. I can work hard, but you know, starting out at Olive Harvey, there was you know, biology is like the first thing you take, and I was always really interested in biology, and I met a chemistry professor whose name is Gilles Collinet, and he really opened my eyes to chemistry. And there was actually a program, a summer program called CLIMB, and the point of that program was to take students from two-year institutions and expose them to research for a summer at a four-year institution, and if the student did well, they can go to that four-year institution after they finished up. So that's actually how I got to Chicago State, and the chemistry was the subject that really took over. And then after that, it was kind of didn't look at any other subject afterwards, which may or not be a good idea. But I struggle a lot in chemistry as well, so it's kind of funny that I'm still in it. But it's just the one field that's pretty interesting to me.
Did anyone have any support from the LSAMP program to help you for tutoring or retention or socialization, enrichment?
Like I mentioned before, actually, I went through the STEM Academy, which is split image of LSMP, and both programs are actually on UAPB's campus now. And just from the time that I've spent on the campus since I've graduated from undergrad, because I frequently go back and make visits and touch base with the department chairs, it's almost a requirement, you know, in a positive way, to do internships. The leadership within the programs really push for students to do internships during the summer, which help them stay focused on their academic area. So that was a big thing for me too, is taking advantage of the resources that were available through the programs.
Okay. You can go.
Actually, I just want to go back to the previous question, if I may. So, why did I stay with physics up to this point? And sometimes this is a very important question, because I think I've had friends, or many of you are familiar with these situations where people are confused about what to do. But there are some people who aren't, and I think I'm one of those persons who was never confused about what I wanted to do. And I don't think it was because I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do, but it's the other way around. What I wanted to do had a pretty good idea of who wanted to do it, and that was one of those persons was me. So, just for example, so for example, when I was an undergraduate at IUPUI, I enrolled in the dual degree program where I would achieve a master's in mechanical engineering and a bachelor's in physics simultaneously. But for some reason, the engineering program was very boring to me. I mean, this is a challenging field, and I understand many people really love it. It poses challenge to many people. But for some reason, this wasn't analytical enough for me. And I couldn't see myself doing mechanical engineering. For me, it was very straightforward. So the only sort of field that posed maybe the sufficient analytical and critical challenge to my mind was physics and mathematics. And so in some sense, all of the other pathways closed by themselves. I didn't have to do anything. I was just sucked into this field, and that is how I remain into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now a few of you all, I think, or everyone, may have talked about research. And included with that, you talked about a mentor or an advisor. So I'd like to take volunteers from the panel to discuss maybe a little bit about that interaction or relationship you had with the mentor. And you can even talk a little bit about the research if you remember it, if you can.
I really liked my research advisor. Well, I've had several, but the one at DePaul when I presented at Ireland, I was at Argonne National Lab, and I really liked our interaction because I felt like he treated me as like his colleague and less of a student, or like someone who he would teach, but it was like almost like we were the same age, but we weren't. Because like I picked him up from his house to go to Argonne, and so and also while we were out here, he would like leave me to do like the experiments. Sometimes like he would go somewhere else. He's like, I'll be right back. I have to go talk to this person, but do this, and I'll be right back. And at first I would be really afraid to. I was like, wait, where you going? You know, because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. But after a while, I just got used to it, and I feel like it's really helped me to like really respect him, and I learned a lot by doing that, and I really appreciate like how he talked to me. It wasn't like what's it called? Not like he didn't talk down to me. He just talked to me like we were on the same level, and I really helped me to want to stay in science and stay in physics, to know that I would have other great advisors like that.
Well, as I mentioned, Professor Jones is my mentor, and I'm very grateful to him. During my time at Chicago State as an undergrad, what I can say about him is that he's always pushed his students to be something better. And it didn't always mean to go into chemistry. It's just to be something better, and that's a philosophy that I think is very, very good to have. And if I went to academics, that's the same thing that I would want for my students. Going into graduate school, it was Professor Jones and another mentor named Professor Felix Rivas, and these two gentlemen really helped me get through the tough times of a PhD, because it's not an easy process. And actually, in regards with my postdoctoral appointment, Professor Jones is the reason, why I have this appointment. So he's been more influential than actually my graduate advisor in terms of my future. So yeah, he really looks after his students.
So for me, in my case, there are two persons really who advised me, and their advice to me has influenced me a lot. And the first person was my undergraduate research supervisor, the same professor I told you who approached me in the hallway. And he's still at IUPUI. His name is Ricardo Deca. So for some of you who are locals here may know him. He is a very strict professor. And when I mean strict, I really mean strict, even for a physicist. Okay, so the kind of discipline he instilled in me. So this was now a social relationship, so that part wasn't good, but the physics relationship was excellent. So the discipline, the research discipline he instilled in me, and the exposure that he brought to me actually helped me a lot to succeed in graduate school. So when I went to Purdue as a graduate student, and Purdue actually takes into its physics program a lot of students from various places, the best places, international and local students. And it's extremely competitive. Even finding a research advisor can be very competitive because advisors want to pick the best among the best. So how exactly you're going to fit in one group is challenging. But because of the research discipline that had been instilled in me from undergraduate, that helped me a lot. And even when I got a research advisor, my research advisor was even more relaxed than my undergraduate supervisor. And so I was actually driven more by just the discipline I already had inculcated in me by my undergraduate advisor. So I think if you're an undergraduate, it's very useful for you to pay keen attention to the relationship you are building with your advisor, because sometimes that may just be the best advisor you are going to ever have. Like Pablo just mentioned how his relationship was. But also my graduate professor was excellent. He's an excellent person. I mean, his personality is excellent. His research skills are excellent. But he was just much more relaxed than my undergraduate supervisor. And there were two distinct personalities, but both of their effort in shaping me to be what I am today is extremely useful because I got a lot from those two personalities.
I just wanted to add to what he said about building relationships. I think that was very key. I actually did an 8-week chemistry summer research internship my freshman year in undergrad. And that professor, Dr. Swaley Black from Norfolk State University, I worked with her, and she actually wrote one of my letter recommendations for my doctoral program. And, that was like 10 years ago. But I think that's just an example of how important it is to build relationships and stay in contact with people even over the years, because you never know when they may need you or you may need them. And she's actually like the director of a program that her co-PI is at Purdue. So there was a strong connection there in reference to me being able to get into the program.
I agree with Trina. My research mentor, Dr. John Watson, he was very instrumental in helping me get into many programs. There's so many to name that he's helped me with, but of course, dental school, he wrote one of my letters for that. Also did a post-bac program in San Francisco. He helped me get into that program. And just overall, he was very supportive. He knew that I wanted, to pursue dentistry, and he still was patient with me and still allowed me to work in his office or in his lab, even though that wasn't the field that I wanted to pursue. So, and also I was able to meet Dr. Shaw at the dental school. She's also one of my advisors and mentors. And there are numerous people who have helped me along the way. Dr. Huff. I'm not sure if any of you know her. She passed away recently, but she has helped me with so many things. I also met my husband through LSMCE, just point that out. Told him I'll embarrass him at some point, so I just had to throw that in there.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the good things. We've talked about the great advisors and how we love our science areas, and we stated our majors. But I know there have been challenges. I know some that are common to all of you all, and some very unique to each one of you all. So I'd like to invite you to discuss with us some of those challenges and maybe how you were able to overcome them.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. After I graduated with my degree in biology, I was unsuccessful the first time in getting admitted into dental school. So I knew I needed to enhance my academic portfolio. So I applied to the post-baccalaureate program at University of California in San Francisco, and it's just a formal program to help students who are interested in the field of dentistry gain admission. And so I did that program for a year, and after that it was just a waiting game. So I just continued to work, and I purposely stayed in the dental field. So I worked as a dental assistant. Even though I had a degree in biology, I probably could have worked somewhere else and made more money, but I just wanted to surround myself with people who were in the field that I wanted to pursue and just stay focused and stay motivated to, continue to pursue dentistry in hopes of getting in. And so I was later accepted a couple years later, and I just stay with it. And that's another thing. LSAM helped me financially. It was a couple years they allowed me to do research throughout the year. Normally, I started off just doing the LSMCE summer program, but they also allowed me to do it throughout the year, and that helped me, not before I had to work all the time, and so financially that helped.
Any other challenges?
So I think for me, and perhaps for many of my colleagues, the first challenge so we are just talking about graduate school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first challenge was the transition from undergraduate to graduate school. So many times when you are very excellent in undergraduate, you really come out with the notion that, yeah, you're going to continue this excellence and you're going to be the best in graduate school, but these are two different worlds, and many times students are not prepared, or they are not aware of this difference initially, and it takes a while to get adjusted to the amount of responsibility that is now being shifted away from professors to graduate students. And that was something that I had to adjust to. It wasn't extremely challenging, but the reason I'm bringing this up because I've seen many times that alone, just the first year alone, poses a lot of challenge to many people, that the class size of enrollment cuts down a lot. At least I saw that in Purdue University. And many times it's not because those who stay are the smartest, but it's just because those who stay are the ones who have the endurance to stay. So you just need to outlast the rest of your friends. So I guess that is the first challenge. And if you pass that stage in graduate school, then comes maybe the time when you have to focus specifically on your research. So you've done all of the course requirements, and now you are taking on your research. So your advisor may help you select what your research project is going to be. And that is even a greater responsibility again, because he's not going to tell you the answers to things he doesn't know. That is why it is a PhD research. And these are some of the things that really challenge us. Of course, there are other social challenges as well, but I don't think, since I'm a physicist, I'm not good to talk about the social challenges people face. So I'm going to leave that.
I went into industry for a little while before I started my PhD, and the major issues that I had to deal with, and this was actually both in industry and now in grad school, is just cultural issues. I'm from a very small town in the South, so I just started this PhD program, and I'm one of the very few African American women in the program, and there's a lot of stereotypes, right? So it's you get into this position where sometimes you feel like you have to change who you are to fit the demographics of the program. But one thing that I really love about Purdue in the environment is that there are a lot of leaders there that stress, no, be yourself. That's the reason why we accepted you into the program, is because we liked, where you come from and what you would be able to bring to the table. So that's something I'm still kind of struggling with a little bit, but overall, I think that's something that everybody faces to some capacity in a graduate program, is dealing with some of the cultural issues. But be yourself. That's my feedback that I would give to you. Be yourself and bring that to the table.
Yeah, I mean, as he said, I definitely have more stress to come. But even as an undergrad in my research programs, I have definitely felt like I wasn't smart enough and I didn't belong there. I feel it all the time. But I've just learned to ignore it, and in the end, everyone thinks I'm more intelligent than them anyway. So, that part's been working out. And also, when I got into college, I didn't really do very good in high school, so I was really behind when I first came to college, and I definitely even considered dropping out because I was not doing well. And so after I got past that jump, and I retook like algebra, I retook a lot of classes, and after I retook those classes, that's when I realized that this isn't so bad. I just didn't know it, and so from there I just decided to do physics when I retook those classes and realized that it was something that I can do and do well.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. This is another question. It's not even on the list. Tell me a little bit how your family views your career goals. Because oftentimes students will come into this academic world, and there's some pros and cons to family. Does anybody want to talk about that? Mm-hmm.
So now, when I think about family now, I'm going to actually, okay, so for most people, they're going to maybe say how their family views their career choice. But I'm going to tell you how my nation views my career choice. Because I come from Liberia, which is a very small country, and scientifically we are extremely far behind. So the thought of even pursuing some abstract field of knowledge that has no immediate practical benefit is something that is insane to most people, and probably to all Liberians. So I don't really fit well in my community. So then in my family also, my family is understanding. Even my mom, who is not even literate, I try to explain what physics means to her, and she's nodding and understanding a little bit and things like that. And she's supportive, so I really appreciate that. But so it's a kind of a mixed feeling every time I go in a Liberian community or in a gathering, and I really like to, interact with my own people and things like that. But it's really difficult in that sense because I don't do anything that is relevant to our nation's success, at least in their view. But I think totally different from what they think. But so it's kind of difficult in that sense. But family-wise, my immediate family members, the only other problem is that, okay, so my mom has always been asking, so when are you going to finish school? so you need to finish school and get a big job and take care of me. And I tell her that, well, this is physics research. I still have a lot of time. She said, well, I heard you finished with this big book, so that's PhD, big book. So you finished the big book, so why can't you just get a big job now? But it takes a while. I have to explain to her and things like that. So that is how my family views it in my country. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyone else?
I've got to answer this one. So my mom is a single parent. So every time I go get another degree, she thinks I'm even crazier. She doesn't. She didn't go to college, so she doesn't really understand the importance of graduate education. I mean, my twin went to Harvard, and my mom thought that was crazy to get a master's degree. She was like, "You have an undergraduate degree, go get a job. Why are you trying to go get another degree?" So, but at the same time, coming from the South, and I know there's other parts of the South this is similar. You know, when you have a lot of people in your family that stopped at high school, they don't understand. So it's actually an opportunity to kind of educate them behind the importance of it, and just let them know why you're doing what you're doing. And once you explain it to them, sometimes it comes off a little bit easier. So.
Anyone else have families who might be a little not understanding? And that happens oftentimes. I hear students, and actually I had that happen with me as well. So it's sometimes it's difficult. You almost have to wear two hats, but you do have to educate the family. Okay, we're gonna have one last question, and then we're gonna start to take questions from the audience. And this one's where I want you to act like you don't have a mentor in the audience, and there's no one in here that you know. Tell us what we could do to make it a better program. Tell us what we could have done to help you in a better way.
Well, at the time, I'm not sure if the LSAMP program here at IUPUI was just getting started or not, but I think maybe having the tutoring available, or even maybe a learning specialist meet with me to figure out why is it that I'm, just doing average or below average in some of my science courses. Just maybe sitting with me to see my study schedule, or to see what it is I'm not getting with science. I mean, because everyone knows, well, everyone in the science field knows, I mean, you have to study science a little bit different than you study everything else. And so maybe just having, someone there to help me figure it out, why, it took me so long to get that.
Anybody else got any suggestions?
So I think that schools that do not require thesis research are at a disadvantage, because it's really important to have research experience, and also if it's publishable. So I think that one thing that would definitely help is when there's mentors and people who are not forcing, but like kind of really pushing for you to be involved and to get research experience, because I've noticed that a lot of students in my school definitely they'll do their best in school, but because they don't realize how important it is to network and also to get research experience, they don't get involved in it until they realize that it's important, which is like in their senior year and their junior year. But if you really start from a freshman, you can be really competitive with other applicants, and I think that's really important to push from the start, that you should be out there networking and be out there getting research experience. So by the time you graduate, you have this big long list, and people think that you already got a PhD.
I would say more events like this, not necessarily the entire conference, but maybe more panels to where the current LSM students could see former graduates and individuals that have benefited from the program, and or even LSM leaders from other locations that come in and talk to the students about the opportunities and what they can do. Because the more exposure you have and understanding where you can go by what you're doing currently, I think it just helps everybody out a little bit more.
Okay. All right. If we have anyone have a question from the audience? And I think we have mics for questions.
You guys forgive me, I wore the wrong shoes today. We all know that you guys up there are, focused in STEM, but if you had to do it all over again, would it be STEM?
I think in my case the answer is clear, right?
Yeah, I definitely would. I was in biology first. I probably would have just went straight to physics to save some time if I did it again.
More questions? Any students with questions? Okay.
Can you hear me? Sorry. This is kind of an abstract question, but I was just wondering how fulfilled you guys feel with what you do now, and if you feel happy right now, or if you feel that you'll be happier when you get to your goal.
Are you happy?
I am actually very happy because the program that I'm in, I feel like it's just absolutely perfect. You know, most people, you know, they get a PhD and their goal is to become tenured, which makes absolute sense, right? That only makes sense. But for me, I really want to travel and, you know, try to recruit more minorities, especially women of color, into STEM, and that's exactly what Purdue is allowing me to research and allowing me to do. So I'm more than happy. I mean, when you look at STEM, there's so many opportunities. It's unbelievable how many programs and opportunities there are to help. You know, I talked about it this morning, to help decrease the dropout rate. I mean, we have the opportunity in the STEM community to attack almost every single issue you can think of, from health problems to technological advancements, et cetera. So I'm happy. I'm a little stressed because of class, but I'm happy.
Well, I am happy I finally got into dental school, but right now it's a little challenging. I'm in my second year, and I can't really lie and say that I'm happy. I mean, I just left an exam, and I have to go write a paper, like, right now. So it's just, that's what I signed up for, and I know that in the end it'll be worth it. So I am happy.
So, in my case, actually, I'm very happy that I did get a PhD in physics, and that I'm at this point doing research in physics. Now, however, there are other forces that interrupt this happiness, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna be very open to you. I mean, this could be personal, and I know probably some of you, since we are all minorities, could be facing some of these challenges. As I mentioned earlier, my family doesn't really understand fully what this all means, and sometimes the responsibility now that I have to assume, at least financially, of my family, and my current job as a postdoc really cannot sufficiently, meet those demands from my family. And that is the only thing that bothers me. And sometimes, and when I sit, that interferes with my scientific thinking process. And I don't know if some of you face these kind of challenges, but suppose I didn't have that kind of a demand, then I would be in a perfect universe right now. So that is the only aspect of my life.
I think I'm a physicist, and I'm so proud to see at least 2 or 3 physicists on the panel. I'm Arlene Macklin from Morgan State University. But I want to say one thing that's extremely important, and that is, I think all of our LSAMPs should be really have more interest and focus on writing, because as a professional, 2/3 of what I do is writing and communicating. And so when I taught the engineering courses, I always talked about, from the very beginning, intellectual merit and broader impact. And most students don't hear those words again until they try to write their graduate fellowship. Now's the time, young man. I'm going to give you my card. There's the National Science Foundation Graduate Fellowship application, early first week of November. There's the National Physical Science Consortium for Minorities Fellowship, November. There's the National Defense Science and Education Graduate Fellowship, January. If you go to my website is really a panoply of information about opportunities for internships, and I have a grant through the intelligence community. And our deadlines are also 1st of November, but it's write this down, www.maccae.org.
I'll get it from you afterwards.
www.maccae.org. I have it on my card for you, young man. But the point is, I have the perfect resume up there, 1 page. I've been in the field for 35 years, and my resume is only 2 pages. I see students giving me 5-page resumes. 1 page is all people want. They don't want any more. Got the perfect letter, the perfect resume, and if you send me an email, I can help you get the perfect internship. I customize it for you. I do a lot of virtual mentoring. And so we need to really work on the writing, because I also serve on these panels, the graduate fellowship panel, the NDSEG panels, and one of the things that kills our students is the writing of that essay. That essay just brings them way down. And so, I mean, I'm on the panels, and that's what everybody says, and I see it too. I see these other students, and I know they've gotten help with those essays. They read like an abstract for the PhD dissertation. And I was reading, talking about my philosophy of education. Nobody wants to hear that. They don't want to hear it because you don't have one.
Any more questions? Okay, well, I think that's going to conclude our segment with the LSAM students, former students, and soon to be physicists, dentists, engineers, and all of the above. I'd like to thank them. Can we give them a nice round of applause? Once again, there are tables out in the foyer, the glass foyer, with some graduate educational tables. If you have time to do that, I think our next speaker's at 2:30. So someone will come and do the actual.
Okay, I guess we're done here. Oh man, she's really working.
Thank you so much, Shereen. Let me get your name one more time. Vanessa. Okay, cool. So you're going to email me, right?
Thank you, Dr. Shaw.
Okay. And you're Kentucky? Okay.
I encourage you to take a look outside this building because you are in the heart of the campus of IUPUI.
Back to our panelist here.
Okay.
She's done.
I am showing a video.
Okay. So as long as you have that plugged into your headphone jack, and actually I don't have it turned on up in the booth yet,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I can go up there really quick and
Very nerve-wracking. Very nice.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. I'll look up for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, yeah. Okay.
I don't want to say anything because attention, I don't like
By the way, I'm Sean.
afterwards. I would really like to speak to the person we think you, but I want to say if anybody has questions.
Cool, good to meet you. I'm actually from out of state, but I lived in this state for 5 years. Yeah, I went to graduate school at IU Bloomington. Yeah, man, so I know these parts very well. How about you?
Yeah.